All right, welcome to the regular city council meeting Tuesday, March 12th. Welcome, everybody. Even you back there. There you go. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Copa Junior.
Here.
Councilmember Robles. Present. Councilmember Hernandez. Mayor Julian.
Here. All right, can you please stand with me for the pledge of allegiance? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item 3 is a moment of thanks, appreciation, and for condolences, and things of the death in the family. Shady Escobedo, our condolences to their family, their Guadalupe, longtime Guadalupe family. Any other condolences? We have another, Mr. Cash or Chief Cash is up there, with the appreciation comment. Mr. Cash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and our citizens. The Public Safety Department, they have a voting group of when they want to acknowledge some of our employees or citizens for great work. The mayor and the council knows for sure we got a heavy hitter here in the city that even though we make her leave, she keeps coming back and filling in as a major designated hitter. So this is something that I stay out of, but the staff thought this was important. So I have Norma, who is our office manager, and our Lieutenant Lamone, would like to present to our city clerk, city HR manager ×3, and all around librarian, historian, and she's my lawyer. But I think the mayor and council can honestly say we really rely on her and the staff, and we utilize her knowledge and skill. She is a outstanding asset to the city of Guadalupe, and we just tremendously love and care for how she took care of us, not only in public safety, but in every department within the city. She sweats, bleeds, cries Guadalupe, and is an absolute treasure for our city. So with that, we'd like to present your shadow box.
Make sure they get you, Amelia.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
I'm surprised, I have no words. They're gonna ruin my rep. This is so sweet. I'm still here, I'm still HR manager in Drum, but, no, this is so cool. I remember seeing the one that woman over there got, Hannah. And I thought, geez, that's really cool. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna do a farewell because I'm still gonna be here, but, it's been an odd pleasure. I love HR. I absolutely enjoy it. I have 200 years of experience. And, I am a Guadalupean, although I was away for 30 years. And, it's been a pleasure, it really has. No, I work very closely with this guy. And those two people over there too. He says I keep him straight, Nora keeps me straight. And we work very closely together and I'm pleased that, you're pleased. That we're done. Thank you.
Yeah, you really appreciate it. In many ways. Next item, the item number 4 is agenda review. Is city council wish to review this and change the order of business? Are we good here, council?
I'm good.
We moved 11 down.
11, down?
Yeah, I would like to see the physical.
11 down?
Yeah, 12 up. A little bit 12 and 11.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay, just flip them, okay.
12 ahead of
yeah.
11. 12 before 11. 12 before 11.
Yeah, that way we can save Janine some time and we're gonna ready to be talking about some shit. That happens for her.
Okay, just remind us. Okay, we'll go to that. The next item is community participation. I have one request to speak. I think it's not, is it on the agenda? Not on the agenda. Belinda Popovich, GBA.
Hi, council members. We just wanted to
Can
give,
you pick up the microphone?
Sorry?
Good.
just wanted to give an update on behalf of the Guadalupe Business Association and the current president. And we have some of our members here in the audience. We've been making great strides with West Michigan Farmers Market, and we just wanted to let you guys know where we're going and what we've already accomplished. So we've already held 2 successful farmers markets so far, with a third one coming up here on Saturday, March 30th. Our subcommittee's been meeting regularly, and we are working on the market rules, finalizing our fundraising campaign form, as well as working on permit paperwork, and we've also established a separate bank account from the GBA, so that way we can keep funds from the new one. And then we are hoping to begin our capital campaign in the next 2 weeks to raise $10,000. And these funds will go towards the startup costs like permits, signage, and ongoing costs of hiring. So far, Route 1 has really been helping us to get this established. We've had a really good community response so far. So we just hope to continue to grow this, hopefully be, anywhere from 1 to 2 times a month. And so hopefully it can be sustainable.
And the farmer's market, your Dan trailer's still at Leroy Park?
Yes, yeah, we're gonna be trying to stick to Leroy Park because that kind of makes the most sense with the bathroom and ease to get to it. Really good walkability, plus kids can be playing while they're learning about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else out there wish to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? See no hands, no slips. Next item is consent calendar. The following items are presented for city council without discussion. As a single agenda item. Is there a council person wishing an item for discussion? Is there anyone in the audience, or we're Zooming, correct? Okay, anybody on or Zoom network? Nobody out there? And nobody out there?
No.
So the Zoom, they can't do live.
Well, they
It's
can't
just-
do live,
It's just
okay, they can
YouTube.
call in or whatever. Well, I don't know if they can call in. But nobody out here, so is there a motion to approve consent calendar item 6?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All ayes, thank you. Next item is management reports, city administrator report information only.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I want to let you know that Chevron, Jeff Moore is interested in having council tour, the Guadalupe Restoration Project site on March 25th or 26th. So if you're interested, let me know, and I can arrange for you to meet with him to tour the facility.
What days are those?
March, what day, actually? 25th and 26th. I don't have a calendar in front of me. Monday and Tuesday. And also the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, we've discovered Philip and I had been talking about this. We were thinking that, the monies would have to be spent by July or end of June. And we have to basically obligate the funds, which we'll get into that discussion during budget, but by the end of this year, and then we can wait until the end of 2025 to spend the money. And also, there's just an attachment for different broadband meetings that Garrett put together. You can see that, at your leisure. Interest income is up again. Just one, it's there for the record. The training that Wendy Stockton put together went well received, for Public Records Act. Also the, training for JPIA training for team building, that went really well. I think some staff were here and everybody I've talked to attested that they thought it was really good. The city auditors have been here doing their field work and they'll be here for the next couple months, correct, Janice? Or they'll be
They're not
working.
here, but
yeah.
yeah, we're working on the budget for the next.
Also, just to let you know, the training was, for the, team building was $2,500 and it was free basically because we're members of JPIA, so that really was nice. Townsend Public Affairs, I just want to let you know that Christine Rose, left on the 8th of February and we're gonna miss her. She was really great. She was super. But we have somebody else in place. His name is Alex Gibb. Leroy Park Community Center, 50% of the drawings are done. We're trying to push to have that, be, presented to the Recreation and Parks Commission by the end of the month. You might have noticed that there's a new recreation, services manager that has been, that she's starting tomorrow. So she'll work with Hannah for the next couple of weeks. Hannah's last day is March 29th. So we'll have to think about that too. Royal Theater's looking good. The mayor and myself, Janice, and some bond people met with, Jones Hall and a fiscal agent and a bond counsel. Talk about gap financing. Something will be coming forward at our next meeting on that. To just to open up discussions on a way to maybe fund that gap. That's pretty much all I have right now. Thank you.
Any questions? Zach?
Oh, I could give the engineer's report if you want me to do that.
Go ahead, let's do that.
Okay. Where is that? Apologize for this. It wasn't here. How about once I find it, I will, oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Various Caltrans projects. This is from Jeff Vanden Eyck from Eyck Design Group. Future Caltrans projects include the Highway 1 and 166 signalization project, the ADA improvement project, and the Santa Maria River Bridge project. The pavement project through Guadalupe and the two shoulder widening projects on Highway 1, both north and south. The city engineer has been working with Caltrans regarding the improvements in the downtown area. The city engineer has also started communication with PG&E regarding the existing street lighting and possible improvements. Guadalupe Street are owned by and operated by PG&E, those items. Amtrak Station Improvement Transit Hub. The city has received a Clean California grant from the state of California. During a February city council meeting, an agreement was signed between the city and Caltrans to secure the Clean California grant funding. The city has received a notice to proceed from Caltrans. The Amtrak site is being surveyed. This topographic and boundary survey is the first step in the design of the project. The city engineer also negotiated an additional $100,000 of LC top funding to be applied to the Transit Hub project. The SBCAG board will approve this funding during a future meeting. Depending on the project costs, the project may include public restrooms, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, bicycle amenities, previous pavers, improved signage and site beautification upgrades. The total project funding is $1.3 million. Central Park renovation project. The design team for the Central Park renovation project has submitted a 70% plans for review by the city. Recent meetings have focused on drainage and fencing for the project. The design team has presented 3 options for fencing, including chain link, composite fencing, and concrete block. Discussions are ongoing with cell providers for temporarily removing antennas for recoding the elevated tank. Leroy Park, Phase 2 improvements, Andrew Goodwin Designs, I kind of mentioned that already, that'll be coming forward to the Recreation and Parks Commission. 303 Obismo site improvement, the design of the 303 Obispo street site improvement is ongoing. City staff hold bi-weekly meetings with PG&E and the design team regarding the project. The project includes charging facilities for future electric buses and electric fleet vehicles. The city engineer met with Santa Maria Regional Transit to ensure two agencies' facilities are compatible. The city engineer also started communication with ChargePoint, to provide the charging infrastructure. The previous provider, Proterra, has gone bankrupt and no longer provides the charging facilities. Highway 1 and Pioneer Lift Station. The Highway 1 station is currently waiting for the electrical switchgear to be provided. The equipment has an approximate 50-week lead time. The Pioneer Lift Station cannot be constructed until the Highway 1 lift station is completed. The city engineer is trying to determine the best time to send the Pioneer Lift Station out to bid. Wastewater treatment plant improvements. The city engineer and MKN met with WWTP with the city staff to discuss ongoing needs at the plant. The city is currently in violation of its permit from the regulatory agency. MKN will start working with city staff to help prepare necessary reports and plant improvement. The biolac portion of the plant is not functioning properly and needs to be repaired. A mid-year budget revision will transfer funds that were originally allocated for the Highway 1 lift station to the wastewater treatment plant improvements. Measure A projects. An application for the Measure A and North County Safe Routes to School bicycle and pedestrian program Cycle 4 was prepared and submitted. The application is for funding for the sidewalks in New Guadalupe Junior High and Guadalupe Early Learning Center. The SBK board approved the North County Safe Routes to School. This is a different one. Bike ped program for Cycle 3. The city engineer prepared a staff report to enter into a cooperative agreement with SBK to receive $114,000 to design and construct a multimodal path between Escalante Meadows Development and the Mary Buren Elementary School parking lot. That's the end of his report. Thanks.
Any questions? He's doing a good job, engineering. You do a good job of reading, so.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I also want to mention how the Pioneer cold water tank was removed and it's really making Pioneer Street.
Yep, that's great. Didn't take him long.
I haven't been by there. Is it gone?
I just noticed it was
Yeah.
gone. Do you have more information?
It's gone.
It's
It's yeah. Just if you blink, you might miss it.
Reno over here,
Yeah,
his grandson is in the house with Doris,
right.
and it's right in the backyard, and he took some pictures as they were,
Oh, cool.
now he says you can see the
Right.
sunsets and stuff, so yeah.
Thank you. All right, Director of Public Safety, Commissioner Code Compliance report for January. Chief, it's up to you, what you want to report on?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only things we have is, we worked with ABC, California Alcohol Beverage Control, to check our businesses as far as alcohol licensing and make sure it was in accordance with their permits, and also tobacco, and an outstanding report. Everyone did very well. And our generator, which is currently being built, think about mid-year, before that is finished being built, we'll be able to put it here. And that'll take care of the building here as far as City Hall. And I'm finishing up the paperwork for the other generator that FEMA will be sending us. I've been on the phone with them. I just gotta finish the paperwork, but it's pretty much already been resolved that we'll get it. I just need to do some administrative work on that. So other than that, we are moving ahead in our emergency preparedness, and police, fire, and code compliance are moving along. So that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? Good here. Thank you, Chief. Next item, Recreation Service Manager, Commissioner.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Upcoming events, the Antique Treasure Sale is this Saturday, March 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Big Red Barn. Also upcoming is the Poetry Jam that will be at Betts Hall Friday, March 22nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then there's a Guadalupe fashion show that is gonna be FSA partnered with the city. That will be Saturday, April 20th from 10:30 AM to 1:30 PM here at City Hall. They're currently seeking designers, makers, and models. So if you're interested, email, I'm gonna spell it out. The email is info, the number 4, nuf@gmail.com. We also just had Viva el Arte in town this last Saturday. Quita Penas was here. It was a pretty good turnout. It was really great music. There's an upcoming one in May. That'll be Saturday, May 18th here at City Hall at 7 PM, and it'll be Jarabe Mexicano. So if you're interested in that, it's free, there's no charge. Again, it's at 7 PM.
A little more about Joe Harris tournament.
Oh, yes, so we actually just posted an update last week that there be a requirement for at least 4 teams in each league, or at least 4 teams altogether and combined by tomorrow, because we hadn't received any registrations yet. And it was kind of the understanding of the commission from drop-in basketball, or the assumption, I should say, that there was gonna be a lot of registrations, and then because there weren't any, we had extended the deadline to allow more to add in at the last minute, but because there aren't any, we posted an updated deadline for tomorrow. So if you have not registered and you still want to register, I think there's only 1 team right now. If we can at least get 3, then we can get something going, at least to just start off a tournament, a yearly tournament. It first was just called the March Madness tournament, but given Joe's rich history with basketball here in the Guadalupe community, we decided to name it after him. So if you know Joe Harris and you play basketball, register by tomorrow.
Yeah, Joe's been doing it. Since childbirth, I think. Any questions? Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, regular business, item 10, council seat vacancy, Mr. Central, can you just make it? I'll get this turn on, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now it's on. Not much to update, we kind of went over this last meeting, we have we opened up the applications for anyone that wanted to apply. We had 3 new applications from new people and 1 from previous applicant, who I believe Mr. Bowden will advise you is unable to attend in the last minute, so she asked that you still consider her candidacy even though she can't be here due to a personal issue. So basically, you know what to do. We interview the 3 people who are here and deliberate. If you wish to appoint somebody, you can tonight, or you can continue it to a future meeting if you require further deliberation. And if you decide to appoint somebody, well, city clerk will be here to swear them in and see the person tonight. Thank you. Could you just elaborate on item 1? What do you mean, sir? Just talking about the December 10th, 24. This just served. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Just to be clear, the appointment is not it's to finish a term that was former council member Ramirez's term. He would have been up for re-election this year. His term expires on December 10th. Even if the person's appointed, unless they run for office, or even a person who's not appointed tonight can run for office, there'll be election in November for this seat, and whoever wins will take over. Could be the person you appoint, or it could be someone else in the audience, or it could be someone else. Okay, let's we have a couple questions that were handed out, and I'm assuming all the candidates received this form. So because of Miss Courtney is unable to make it, so we have 3 candidates that will be interviewing, and we'll have a series of questions. They've seen a question, there's 7 of them, and Whitney Prentice
I think.
Okay. Come on up.
I was gonna go first.
Okay, you are.
Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, we'll start off, Mr. Robles, Councilman Robles.
Welcome, Whitney. So question number one. What in your background, training, skills and experience would be beneficial to you as a council member? Helping guide the affairs of Guadalupe with a population of 8,500 residents?
Sure. So I do have some prepared words, but I'm gonna try to, I think I'm gonna try to summarize and also have these notes. So bear with me if I fumble through this, but, so I'm from, Central Coast originally. I lived in Guadalupe for 8 years. I grew up, my mom owned an antique store in Arroyo Grande, so I grew up in a small business. I currently work for NASA's prime contractor at Vandenberg Space Force Base. I'm the administrative assistant. That job, that position requires me to do a lot of different things, wear a lot of different hats, primarily items related to budget. So I reconcile our monthly budget, plan our yearly budget, and do HR. All those things that, essentially come with an administrative role. I also do a lot of facilities, planning, and maintenance. So we, are in charge of the facilities on the campus. That means that we have to, plan infrastructure projects, like currently we are trying to get an elevator in a 50-year-old building. So, that's, we have to make sure the funds are obligated this year and whatnot. So I'm familiar with, purchase orders and different things regarding the government, but, that's my professional experience. I think that, I have a lot of kind of a diverse background. But on a more personal note, I live here with my family. I bought my home 8 years ago. Proud to raise my kids here, and I think that my ties to the community really will speak for, I have my professional background, but I also have the heart of Guadalupe, and I think that'll do just as well as my professional experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and, some of your response will cover some of the questions, so we'll just go at that.
Yeah.
My next question is based on what you know about the city government and specifically about the city of Guadalupe government. What do you see as the top priorities for the city and why?
I would say my top priority for the city, or I would see as the top priority, is the safety of the city. I think the police department and the fire department and the community do a great job at keeping our city safe. I feel safe and secure. But I think that's a top priority, and I want to continue to make that a priority, because we all deserve to feel safe and secure in our home, in our community. Secondly, another priority would be economic development of the city. I think that, I'm so passionate about this place. I think it's the cutest, best little kept secret on the Central Coast. But I do think that we could benefit from, some tourism, some increased tourism, and, incentives to bring more small businesses to the area. I'm definitely a champion for small businesses, so supporting that, not turning us into some place that we aren't, but, just promoting what we already have, and bringing more people here to see what a great place this is.
Thank you. Ms. Hernandez.
Guadalupe is very ethnically diverse community. In your role as a city council member, how would you reach out to all residents to ensure that they are well represented by the city leadership?
So I think, regardless of ethnicity, I think that our community shares family values and lots of values, and I think that brings us together. I think that Guadalupe already does a great job of, reaching out to different multilingual families and whatnot. But it's not lost on me that I, may not be the ethnicity of the majority of the town. But that being said, I think I'm an advocate for all people, and it doesn't matter if we speak the same language. My youngest daughter, her best friend speaks Spanish, and my daughter speaks English, and they're still
best friends. So, you know, I think that we can get by, you know, just sharing the values that we do.
Mr. Costa.
My question for you, the city of Guadalupe has been able to secure several grants and resources to increase recreational services projects to help create jobs and major traffic projects. Are you able to identify any of these developments?
Yeah, so I get very excited about one particular project, which is the Royal Theater, and the renovation of that. And I know it was mentioned earlier, but I think there's so much potential in that project, and I haven't been involved in that conversation yet, but I have a lot to say about that one. I just think it can bring, you know, tourists and locals and bring the community together and make our downtown just so much more vibrant than it already is. The other ones that are of interest to me or that I'm aware of are the grants and resources associated with Leroy Park. My kids and I spend a lot of time there. I think there's a lot going on, and that's very exciting for a family with children to, you know, just see what's changing and whatnot. And then the updates to the train station, I think that is going to be very exciting for them to see. Hopefully that'll bring more people in, you know, be a little hub for the Amtrak train. So that's exciting. And then the electric buses, you know, we're keeping up with the time. So I you know, great move, forward thinking, unappropriate, you know, for our city moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Robles.
Whitney, how do you stay informed about current events and issues affecting the city?
So mostly I would say I get my information from social media. I think I hate to say that, but because, you know, because there's such a stigma about social media, but that's where a lot of the information I get is from. I have Facebook groups that I'm a part of for the city. I follow a lot of the local businesses on social media. And then I've watched the council meetings via YouTube. So that's, you know, another way that I stay informed. And then I love the marquee downtown. That's always fun driving through. And that it's been changed. Like I saw the fashion show listed today, so that was exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is your approach to handling controversial or complicated issues?
So I try to look at things pretty objectively at first, to see all sides to, you know, complicated issues. I don't want to make conclusions without, you know, seeing it from, you know, all different sides. Once I research, maybe talk to an expert or hear from an expert, or if I don't have firsthand knowledge, and I, you know, sufficiently learn about all sides, then I will make my own conclusions, you know, based on my own research and whatnot. And then if it's asked of me to make a decision on that complicated or issue, then I think that, you know, the way I would make a decision would be based on what's gonna have the most benefit with the least amount of harm.
Thank you. Christina?
Do you have any questions regarding this process for council position?
So I should have questions, but I don't. And I thought about this a lot, because I feel like I get asked questions just to ask questions. But I don't know what I don't know. I mean, I feel, you know, I have some government experience, but I would hope that I could learn from all of you if I were put in this position.
Any other questions from council? Go ahead, please.
Is there anything that you would like to add, other than our question?
Anything I would like to add about me? Well, I mean, the most exciting part, my daughter is going into transitional kindergarten here. I mean, I have an older daughter too, and she didn't go through the school system in Guadalupe, but I'm so excited for this next chapter, just because of the changes that are happening, you know, with the schools and whatnot. And I'm just really passionate about this town and things. So that's why I'm here. It just kind of fell into the right time in my life where I would apply for something like this. And I think I could be a great benefit to the council.
Just a question.
My question is, if you are selected or not selected for the vacant seat, how sure are you to run again or run for the seats that's open?
So if I am selected, I think it's a great time for me, somebody that doesn't have a huge amount of experience on a council, to see for 9 months, how it's gonna go. I can't say if I would run if I were elected, and then if I weren't elected, I would feel that, or excuse me, if I weren't appointed for this vacancy, I can't say if I would or wouldn't run in November. But I would think about it for sure. I definitely plan to attend more meetings regardless of my appointment or not appointment. I've already learned tonight some things that I'm interested in, like the basketball tournament. Like, anyone want to be on my team? I play point guard. I didn't know about it, but I mean, if you need some teams, I'd be willing to put one together. My husband's tall, can't do, but.
There you go. Get her phone number.
What's your name?
One quick question. Are you currently active or volunteering in the community?
So, I volunteer in the community, this community, although I would say every time I think about volunteering, I mean, every time I drive through, I'm like, man, I love the mural. I love, I see who does the marquee. It's always been a thought. Back before COVID, I had actually been involved in a planning commission for Santa Maria. I worked in Santa Maria at the time, and I was, this is awesome. I love the way that this is working with the people coming together and doing this. But then COVID hit. So COVID hit, I had a young baby that was 3 years, so it just, like I said, I think that this particular vacancy really is it. I mean, and this time in my life allows me more time, my daughter's 4 now. I think this is, the next steps, like volunteering and being more involved in Guadalupe.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more last question. If you were selected today, would you be ready to sit down?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your time, really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next individual is Judy Wilson.
Mayor and Councilman, VP Mayor, Councilman, can you hear me?
Okay, I have the pleasure of asking the first question. What in your background, training, skills, and experience would be beneficial to you as a council member helping guide the affairs of Guadalupe with a population of 8,500 residents?
Well, I have some prepared.
Please, go for it.
Go ahead.
And so, well, currently, I am involved, I am the vice president of the GBA. I also chair the transportation committee, which was, revised. And so, from the council in Santa Maria. And so I've taken it over. I feel it's going very well and is expanding in its success. So, beyond that, I think my background in campaigning for mayor, serving on several PTA boards and community service, has honed my skills in community engagement, effective communication, and strategic decision making. These experiences individually qualify me to understand and address the needs of Guadalupe's 8,500 residents as a council member, fostering positive development and representing their interests.
Thank you.
Okay, the next question is, based on what you know about the city government and specifically about Guadalupe, what do you see as the top priorities for the city and why?
I feel, one of the priorities would be the 2024 general plan implementation. This will update the zoning ordinance, facilitating the revitalization of downtown and welcoming new businesses. 2, focus on new creation and training programs to eliminate the necessity for commuting, fostering a more sustainable community. And 3, promoting overall well-being and food security for those that are dependent on food assistance with reliable access to nutritious food within the community.
Thank you.
Guadalupe is very ethnically diverse community. In your role as a city council member, how would you reach out to all residents to ensure they were all well represented by the city leadership? I would, be reaching out by maintaining active participation in the Guadalupe Business Association, utilizing city media platforms, and engaging in community events. I aim to stay connected and contribute to the ongoing development and success of our community.
My question for you is, the city of Guadalupe has been able to secure several grants and resources to increase recreational services projects to help create jobs and major traffic projects. Are you able to identify any of these developments?
Yes. Rural communities, the Transit Hub renovation project. Measure A for 11th Street Safe Route to School project, the Central Park, Leroy expansion, the Royal Theater, and the SB CAG road improvement.
How do you stay informed about current events and issues affecting the city?
I stay informed by the ZBA, the city council meetings, and communicating with other residents within the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. What is your approach to handling controversial or complicated issues?
And my approach involves searching for relevant facts and background information to understand all facets, maintain objectivity, and steering clear of personalization to foster an open and honest discussion. Do you have any questions regarding this process of council position? I do not at this time, no.
Mr. Costa asked a question of, Whitney, would you run again if you were or were not selected?
Yes, I would. As I'm very involved at this point in the community already, I feel that, whatever, if I was to be selected today, then I would want to continue what I had started and, proceed further with it.
Okay. And Mr. Robles asked, what is your, volunteering effort here in the community, aside from the GBA?
I have, been, besides GBA, I'm trying to, well, with the GBA, we've done other things within the community,
Okay.
so kind of, it stands up, so that's what I have done.
Okay. All right. Any further questions from the council? And you have none of us, so,
I don't have any other questions.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
All right. Okay. Richard, how do you pronounce your last name, Richard? All right. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
And I'll start off with Richard. What is your background, training skills and experience would be beneficial to you as a council member helping guide the affairs of Guadalupe with a population of 8,500 residents?
Okay, my background experience, well, first of all, I came in Guadalupe 6 years ago. So several background experience I had was I was a youth football coach of the Guadalupe Bulldogs. So I have a good rapport with the kids in the community, and also coaching experience in Santa Maria High School as a running back coach. That's the only training experience I have. But my main thing was the coaching the youth football, the Guadalupe football. That's how I built this going in the community.
Okay.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, based on what you know about city government and specifically about the city of Guadalupe, what do you see as top priorities and for the city and why?
So my observation, the main top priority is have some more business and infrastructure in the community. I think we need to spark up the city more, you know, have a lot of people come in for some businesses. So to be honest with you, I'm tired of going to Santa Maria and buying two items. So,
Very good.
Starters, just get some type of infrastructure, the businesses, start up a little pizza, Starbucks, Walmart, just to start off the build community.
Thank you.
Guadalupe is very ethnically diverse community. In your role as a city council member, how would you reach out to all residents to ensure they are well represented by the city living?
Just being myself, me coming from New York, I'm from the melting pot, so I truly love all kinds of people, kinds of cultures, the food they eat. So ethnicity is a big deal to me, and I like to see a lot of unity in this community because it's very important for us to bring something to the table. So I love ethnicity. I love culture. I'm part of the culture from back east, so me being African American individual, I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of other cultures. Learning Mexican culture, Puerto Rican culture, all kinds of culture. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The city of Guadalupe has been able to secure several grants and resources to increase recreational services, projects to help create jobs and major traffic projects. Are you able to identify any of these developments?
To be honest, no, but the only project I'm familiar with is Royal Theater. So, from the community, they're just telling me that, the Royal Theater is up and running, so that's the only thing I'm familiar with, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Richard, how do you stay informed about current events and issues affecting the city of Guadalupe?
Basically my community, I have a great rapport with, my neighbors. They tell me all kinds of things that's going on in Guadalupe. Number two, the city of Guadalupe website, there's some information that keeps me informed. Social media, Facebook, I believe, yeah, they have some information that can inform me. But the main thing is the community. That's what's important. I will go outside and check my mail, then my neighbor would tell me, hey, Richard, you know what's going on in the community? I say, yes, what's going on? So that keeps me informed, and it keeps me building rapport.
Thank you. What's your approach to handling controversial or complicated issues?
First, you want to get the facts. I believe facts is very important. Go further and do some research, and then after that, come with a compromise decision. But the main thing is getting the facts so we can get like a multi understanding to the Irish situation.
Thank you. Tina?
Do you have any questions regarding this process for council participants?
No, I don't. I just wanted to thank you guys for this opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your interest.
Several other questions. Would you run again, if you're selected or not selected for the?
Yeah, yes, I'll run again. I'll probably be more prepared. Selected, I know what I bring to the table. I would demonstrate enthusiasm and energy to this community, and for the people that know me in the community, I could bring that about myself, because I keep it authentic, and I know the city community will appreciate it.
I know you volunteer for the football. Is there any other community events that you participate in?
Not that I know of, but for giving me the opportunity, I would definitely participate.
Any further questions? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Now the difficult.
We got 5 minutes. Got 2 minutes. No, not Rich. Should have the original.
And her updated one last time, and it's included in your packet.
The letter, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
letter. I got the sense it was the last minute thing. So-
Yeah, not actually answers in writing of the question, yeah.
All right. Who wants to start this off? Any, I don't know, we don't want to do a blind, or a secret ballot. Is there what's on your mind? Mr. Robles, Mr. Costa, Christina, any individual standing out? They're all good.
Would it be better if we left the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
We can close the curtain, you know.
Or you can sit together.
Everybody's in the spot.
If I may,
Please,
all three candidates that were here, I wanted to tell you guys, thank you for putting your interest. This is a very difficult decision at times for us to do, especially when we're appointing somebody. But for me, I would like to recommend, Judy Wilson.
Christina?
I would like to thank everyone for coming. This is a difficult decision. There are some things that stood out for me though. So my decision would be with Whitney.
Gilbert, I'll be the last, you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough one, yeah. Wholeheartedly, I think they both, all three of them did well, very well. I do like the experience of Whitney.
Just several comments. One is that this is a 9-month position, so whatever goes on here, there's starting in November, in another opening, if this person wasn't selected, either of you three. Given what's before us for the next 3-4 years are major projects that are going on that impact the city of Guadalupe. The Pasadena Road construction, the Highway 166, Highway 1, the new bridge, even Black Road that's coming in this year, in the lightage, so Obispo Street lightage, or the signalization railroad tracks, the downtown GBA, the businesses that we want to see. There's a lot of individuals outside this community that really likes to see what's going on in Guadalupe. And as mentioned, it's a good place to live. There was before us, there was the thought about, well, you want to expand their sphere of influence to where you can increase the population. And my feeling is, no, we don't want to get so big that we're going to be like Santa Maria. And anybody that goes to Santa Maria at 3:30 and tries to get back over here knows that traffic is pretty crazy. I think it was brought up in terms of not having to go to Santa Maria to get a carton of eggs or milk. We need businesses here. There's 18 acres of commercial along Pasadena. We need to see that built up. And I think with the Highway 166 and one project in the next 2 or 3 years, all of these things happen in the next 2 or 3 years. And anybody that serves now, even us here and the new individuals are going to find that there's going to be a lot of work. A lot of work for us, and I think, given that we have 3 candidates, it's too bad that Courtney couldn't make it, but so be it. And I would lean toward Whitney as a replacement for the 9 months. So, are you good with? Were you?
Yes, I'm fine with that decision also. Like I said, we do have a lot on the table in the next upcoming years, and was an analogy when the mayor said we've got the rock, it's getting close to the top of the hill, so where we can become self-sufficient and we got a lot of things to accomplish in the city, and I just don't see somebody come in and fill this void and have the hunger to take on the 4 years in the upcoming election cycle also. Working in city government, it's, there's not a whole lot of glamour behind it. There's a lot of stuff that has to be read, and for me, when I got in, it was the same thing, you know, it's just. It's, you know, where your heart's at and we could, yeah, I mean, it's. Sometimes we can look down upon by city for some of the decisions that we decide, but you're here to do the best for the city and that's what we're here for, so I learned quite a bit, yeah. I'm good with that.
Okay, you. Willing for that, and. Mr. Costa, you were with, Judy, but I think we have three heads, positive head nods for Ms. Furness, so. Go ahead.
Yeah, I recommend a formal motion then.
Okay,
Point.
Christina, would you make that motion?
I make a motion to select Whitney Furness as the next city council, to fill the next city council vacancy.
Yeah, remainder, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Costa, Junior,
I recommend, but I.
Councilmember Rowland,
I,
Councilmember Hernandez.
Aye.
Mayor Julian.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you, you three individuals.
thank you guys for your interest and time to come out here and.
Right. Whitney, so, yes,
I just see right now. You're right now.
put your skates on and get over here.
For Richard and Woody. I hope, you guys pull papers and get on the ballot. You know, this year and, you know, give it another shot that way and go from there. Cause like I said, you know, we said it was, you guys, three good candidates, you guys, you know, on the spot answering questions. Not knowing, you know, but you have that interest. I was at one point in your guys' shoes years back. And then I finally took the jump to run and got elected, so I encourage you guys this year to. If you want to do it, pull the papers and run for that route, but thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right,
I swear to
yes, please. Okay,
you.
okay.
You're like, I didn't know.
Got a smile for the news on.
Where's your camera?
Mine?
Yeah. Is it-
I'm good. Get home, and he'll say I told you so. Okay.
Want another mic?
Okay, here we go. Raise your right hand, please.
Okay.
I, Whitney Furness. I, Whitney Furness, do solemnly swear or affirm, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend, the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of California, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely, without mental reservation, or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Let's take a 5-minute break while we make these transfers and give her the file cabinet of all the stuff she's got to read.
You guys
Well, we're at 11 now. Mid-year budget review for fiscal year 2023-24. Ms. Davis, you're up.
Thank you, council. Okay, so this is the, this year mid-year, 23-24 mid-year adjustment. The recommendation is, it is recommended that the city adopt resolution number 2024-21, adjusting the general fund, enterprise fund, capital improvements project, and the American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA fund. On background, on July 25th, 2023, resolution number 2023-67, adopting the proposed budget for the fiscal year 23-24 was approved by the city council. City staff recently reviewed each department budget based on some review of current and projected information. Staff is presenting a recommendation to amend the general fund, CIP, enterprise fund, and American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds. The specifics regarding the recommended changes are identified in the accompanying resolution and its attachment. The following is a summary of the recommended adjustments. For the general fund revenue, Exhibit A on page 2, fiscal year 23-24 approved budget revenue estimates were set at $7,282,819. After review with the city staff, the only recommended change to reduce the revenue by $60,000 for a school resource officer, as these revenues are not expected to be received in fiscal year 23-24, setting the revenue budget at $7,222,819. All of the revenue amounts are expected to be received by the end of the fiscal year. Do you have any questions on the revenue?
Yeah.
Okay. General fund expenditures, this is Exhibit A on page 4. On January 23rd, 2024, Resolution 2024-11 was adopted approving startup funding in the amount of $10,000 for the approved city nonprofit corporation. This is there is current expenditure savings in administration professional services that city staff is suggesting to use for this expenditure for the startup funding for the nonprofit.
Can you explain that a little more so that Ms. Furness can?
Sure. This, in order for the city to receive, well, not really, in order for us to receive historical tax credits, we needed to have a nonprofit organization that can receive that. The city is applying startup funding of $10,000, and this is the fund that I'm suggesting we pull it from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that nonprofit is connected to Royal Theater, but it's also the nonprofit for any other entity that we could go out and get grants for as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Exhibit A on page 7. Contained within the report for year-end expenditure projects that would reflect an increase in expenditures by $50,000 to the overall general fund expenses that were approved at $7,248,616 to $205,616 for a replacement vehicle for the police department. Don't know if you guys are aware, there was an accident that totaled one of our vehicles.
Right.
And we're not sure how much we are gonna get from insurance, so this could be all or none, but to increase the budget is just to give them some leeway in case they do have to purchase a new vehicle. The enterprise, you guys have any other questions on that?
Correct. You have another one?
You can go get one.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, sorry.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
The enterprise fund, which is on, in Exhibit B. Contained within the report are year-end revenue projections that would reflect an increase in revenues received from grants for the wastewater fund by $1,734,900.
and the transit fund by 1,004,000. Yeah, 1,004,000. We spoke about this in, briefly, through Todd's, report. And if you, this will also be within this next, CIP modification, where it shows, where the funds were going. CIP modification exhibit C.
Can you
Other
explain the CIP?
Mhm. Construction in progress.
No,
No.
capital improvement.
Capital improvement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's another term. Capital improvement project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's see, under category of wastewater, a grant for the Highway 1 lift station for CDBG was approved in the amount of $3,534,908. The original budget consisted of $1,800,000 from the wastewater fund to cover this project. City staff is asking that we allocate the $181,800,000 for our Highway 1 lift station project and use those monies to fund much needed wastewater treatment plant improvements for the pond and the dredging. So because they have received the grant, they want to move the money that they were going to use for that previous project to want to improve the wastewater station. All right. Under the category of transit, a clean air grant was also approved in the amount of $1,004,000 for the Amtrak tram station rehab and design transit hub rehab project. And those are highlighted in Exhibit C. Modification. As a part of the fiscal year 2024 budget process, the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds were reviewed. A detailed listing of the ARPA allocation and proposed funding for the remainder of the year is listed as the last attachment to this report. Exhibit D to the resolution identifies changes that staff is recommending for the remainder of this fiscal year. These changes are redirecting funds from certain capital improvement projects that are not likely to be purchased pursued to other CIP projects that are either underway or contemplated during the second half of the year.
And the remaining balance and to be spent in that fund is a little over $1 million, correct?
Yes, the remaining balance in that fund is $1,023,672. Some of that is what we've kept from what we've already allocated. The ones that are highlighted in yellow, we're asking to put towards the roof repair and wall at City Hall. And that's $602,607.
Can you, maybe Todd, or you go into why we want to allocate the money to roof repair?
First of all, I mean, anytime it rains, there's 5 locations where it really leaks real bad. I mean, even here is a spot. I feel sorry for the chief as the interior part of the ceiling with the spackle above fell down in different locations. And I called Phil and I said, I think we got an emergency here. And knowing that we could only use the funds through July is what I thought originally, is we got to get going on this. This is an emergency. In the meantime, Eddie went out and got some quotes to generally get these numbers together. But knowing that we have a little time and we have to do this right by procurement law, we also discovered there was this, Shannon, when she was here, we did a whole study that he can work off. So Jeff Van den Eyck is going to help us put together a bid document. which will quantify, it'll be equal for anybody who bids on the quantity amounts, say the linear feet of whatever needs to be replaced has to be put in a bid document, not like an RFP like we had originally talked about. It has to be an actual bid document that would be sealed bids, and they would come to the city, we'd open them up and compare the prices. So anybody that bids on it, would bid on it equally on a fair playing field. And just for that purpose, we just wanna preserve City Hall and its historic value and maintain the historic look of the building and get the right tile up there, get the right, the bones. As the mayor knows, from Mr. Martinson,
Martinez?
he was saying the big thing with this building is to protect the bones, and to do that, you gotta start with the roof. But in some ways, in some of these areas, the walls are so bad that we actually have to fix, like here, this whole wall here with the windows has to be fixed before we put the roof on. Cause you don't wanna put the roof on and then shimmy up the walls and then affect what you've already done. So we're putting together the bid documents now. I had a good meeting with Jeff today to, it's all justified in terms of the need. Like I say, there's leaks, yeah, as you can see when you walk in City Hall, you can see, puddles everywhere, and it's just a hazard, and let's just protect what we have and replace the sheathing and put the tile back on and keep this building for a long time.
You know, there's a lot to this money plus Pasadena where they are to allocate. But the plan was, the past was to actually build City Hall in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And instead of building a new building over there, there's a commitment by Pasadena to allocate so much money per house that's sold for this building. I think it was up to $3 million for to come into the city as opposed to building a place over there.
Yeah,
Which would include the fire station, which would include City Hall.
and that's not until the final stages of the
Right,
project,
but
which could be years. Yeah,
It could be years, but that's there.
right. And I might emphasize, you know, that we, and Gregory Hart had provided that 1.1. Yeah, and then in order to get it, the chief put his bid in for what he needs to have done there in terms of remodeling, women's bathroom, kitchens, just an upgrade interior wise. And then we also talked about the need for the city. So we really have two sources of revenue as it relates to this building. I think we'll have, looking at the quotes, and I think we can handle the roofs and the walls with the ARPA funds. And I think there'll be room to spare with some of these other projects. I could also foresee us probably have a need, if there's extra, just something we can come forward with, would be to really maybe even look at all the windows. Cause they're just not looking good. But let's get the bones fixed and.
It's only 95 years old. So.
Yeah. I don't need to really sell it, but
No, you don't.
yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I need.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so fiscal impact, the fiscal impact associated with the, mid-year changes are 120,000. 10,000 for non-public startup and 110,000 from public safety revenue and expense changes. In the general fund, and the enterprise fund is a positive 2,545,980, and other government grant revenue in the wastewater and center.
You know, somewhere in here I saw a reserve. I don't know where I saw it.
Yeah,
It's in the, you're probably looking at the fiscal, or the February, report.
Okay, in the report. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, the reserves are, based off of the fund balance. So basically what we have, for currently, and actually I don't have this for, let me see if it's in there. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Here, so from the for fund balance, it's a positive 2,090,080 currently. That we have for fund balance. This is not audited, So those numbers could change.
Give me that number again.
2,098,080.
That equates to what percent, you know, roughly
What percent
of the general fund budget?
Was that eight? What's the percentage?
Where the goal was, I think, what was it, 15%?
15%.
We can do that now.
It's actually,
Yeah.
I have it in here. The required amount that was approved for the budget was 1,087,292. The city is currently exceeding the required fund balance by 1,010,780. And that's on page 4 of the financial, February 2024 financial report.
I think, historically, there was a point, you know, and I think everybody knows that, the county grand jury mentioned that we should disincorporate because we didn't have enough money. In fact, there was a point where we were down about $500,000 because of transfers that were made from enterprise funds, which you cannot take money from unless there's all the hoops that you have to pay it back and interest and all that, which we're doing now. And at one point, again, we were in a hole, almost $500,000, and then one year we had a reserve of $27,000. And anything would have happened with a building to fall down or something, we would have to go on a tent. This is good news.
It is, and that's the graph shows, the projection from 2017 where it was negative, 684,000. And then it was still negative in 2018, by 167, but we were progressing. In 2019, where you were saying it was 27, it was actually only 15,000 that we had in reserve. And then it just progressively went up from there. June of 2020 was 485,000. Again, we're still only in the thousands up to that point, and then we get into the millions last year. So, and we're continuing to progress.
That's good news.
Set a new reserve fund goal. You can hear that? Yeah, Mike, since he's been here. Me too, chief, me too.
So yeah, the city's doing a really good job in building up that food.
Okay, anything else?
None unless you guys have anything.
Questions from the council?
Yeah.
Good news. Good, yeah, that's good.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, chief, for all the things that you do. Getting all the money in here. Which is the council? On resolution 2024-21.
I'm open to approve resolution 2024-21.
I'll second that.
Since we got to the finance bit.
Any discussion?
Really went up.
Normally on resolutions, we
The
have.
numbers
roll
don't
call.
lie.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Coffey Junior.
Aye.
Councilmember Robles,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez, Councilmember Burnett. Mayor Williams.
Aye, all ayes. Thank you. Good report. You didn't have to worry too much.
All good news.
All right. Okay. Now we go to grants administrator job description. Mrs. Villegas, Ms. Villegas.
That report.
Okay.
I'll be brief because.
Mike.
When I get here.
My microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be brief and do a quick summary of the staff report and I'll head over to Todd to expand if not, if there's any questions came for that. Let me just read briefly that, well, the recommendation is to approve the position of grant administrator and then to authorize the recruitment process to start as soon as possible. Although the city may have been eligible to receive grants to the district, due to the district's disadvantaged status, the city did not regularly apply for every grant opportunity in the past. Within the past 45 years, the city has applied for and received grants in varying dollars amounts. Some of those grants are, listed on the staff report, such as covering up Arts Council grant for the Royal Theater, that was $5 million. There's a Cal Fire Urban Tree Grant for $171,000. CDBG grant for Highway 1 Restoration, $816,000. And a number of other grants, again, as high as $5 million, and then into the bigger amount. I determined that it would make it a more efficient and effective process to centralize the administration of all these grants and have one individual responsible for the receiving and monitoring of all the grants for the variety of projects that we have now and for the number of projects that we will have in the future. But in addition, it would also make it a little easier to apply for grants because we know someone will be able to administer and watch the expenses and community reimbursement. The position was developed. It is a brand new position, and I did what I typically do when I'm developing a job description. I talk to other cities, and the response was, "You're very lucky that you have grants. You're very lucky that you don't have a grant administrator." So that didn't help me in developing the job description, but I was able to do so. And it is a position that's covered under SEIU. It was discussed with the union rep, Rob Perry. He had no concerns at all in terms of the position, the content, and certainly not the grade. One thing that Philip, our city council member, excuse me.
Yeah.
Made a point of telling me that on the staff report, on the job description, I didn't indicate that this position would also be responsible for administering, monitoring the cannabis program, which is not entirely active at this point at the beginning. He wanted to make sure that SEIU was aware of it, and I placed a call to the union. And I sent an email to the union and made that point. And I said, if you have any concerns, please get back to me. They had no concern, but your direction was followed. I'll turn it over to you, Tom.
Well, this position would require somebody that's very organized and financially minded. And the cannabis program was, after I was talking with Bill, we were working on some stuff. And they were saying, we need somebody that could really be honing in on this. And so I thought to myself, if we're looking at this grants position, why not fold this into the mix? And what's nice about this grant is that every grant typically has administration budget line items that will help support and pay for the position. So it won't be a general fund position, but we have to put it in the budget as an expenditure. But the great thing is that the revenue will come from the grants to offset that expenditure. So if you're looking at our general fund is 7 million, say, and we've got all these employees that are getting paid under a general fund, and you're looking at it at any given year, 25 to $30 million in grants to manage, I think it makes sense to probably have a position to help support the administration of it. I always see all these grants that Townsend sends in, I'm thinking, wow, let's go for it. But then I'm thinking, it can be a real nightmare managing them. So I just think this is a very important position. As long as we're getting grants, we should be okay. And now we can wholeheartedly, obviously you have Tom working on the Royal Theater. There's going to be aspects of department heads doing a lot of reimbursement on their own, but this person will be able to work in a, what's the word you used? In a central location to sort of making sure that the communication is with each department head, with each employee, ensuring that the reimbursements are getting done. So it's, for me, looking at how this city gets grants, I'm amazed. I've never seen a city that gets grants like this city. It could really afford to have a position to help manage it, in my opinion. I just didn't think you guys would have any issue.
That's what you thought. Right, any questions of, Amelia?
So what's the pay rate? That it'll be for this thing, you know, I understand the grants are gonna help.
Yeah, the
with the-
starting salary is,
Thank you. The starting salary is, $30, and the maximum is $40 and.
Would it be known that there's no grants, they have no job?
Dean, there'll be grants, I mean, Lord.
Well, cause I just, you know, it's my thing is.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, even if you were to say that you weren't gonna get one more grant for ever, you'd have probably 5 years of just what we have to work on.
okay,
So,
I just, you know. Would not like to have an individual come in and be like, oh, I didn't get a grant, I guess that's it, I'm done. No, that's good, okay.
this gives us a great opportunity, especially with the water, human time, we might see the plans there.
Yeah.
Is this a full-time or part-time?
not full time.
Full-time.
All right,
It person will be busy, trust me, yeah.
okay, what's which of the council, is resolution number 2024-20? Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll motion to approve resolution 2024-20.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Councilmember Clifford Junior.
Aye.
Councilmember Holder.
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Burnett.
Aye.
Mayor Julian.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item 13, compensation increases for city officials and stipend for recreation Parks Commission. Mr. Stanko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Including our new city council member, I want to assure you that this pay raise, you're thinking, wow, this is great, we're getting a pay raise my first day on the job.
Well, that's how you wanted.
This raise will take effect with the new council that's seated after the election. That's the rule for all pay raises. But for your benefit, as well as everyone else, I'm gonna take a little more time with this item, Mr. Mayor, than I plan to. A bill was recently, sorry, turning it the wrong way, was recently, took effect on July 1st. Senate Bill 329 that increased the maximum salary for elected officials in cities with less than 35,000 in population from $300 to $950 per month. The previous statute, the city didn't even have the minimum or the maximum salary. It was set at $150 in 1986 and it stayed there. It has stayed there. The statute allows adjustments of up to 5% per calendar year that it hasn't been raised. The new statute, the previous statute allowed that so that you could go over that maximum $300 a month. Now council can go over the $950 per month under the new statute, but you can do so at you have two options. You can use the 5% method that was in effect before, or you can use the CPI, Consumer Price Index, up to 10% for each calendar year. So that will make our finance director have something else to do in the future. One of the main points though is right now the council would have an option of raising its $150 salary by the 5%, which would not get it as high as you just going up to the maximum 950, which is now allowed. At the last meeting, the council deliberated this and indicated support for a monthly salary of $500 for all city council, all of the city's elected officials. In addition to the council members, the city treasurer and city clerk are also elected officials.
there's a statute in the municipal code that provides that they have, those two offices have the same salary that the council members vote for themselves, so it just automatically takes place whatever the council decides that its own salary, so we don't need to take any separate action with respect to those two positions unless you want to pay less to them, which I don't think they would like, but you could do it. In addition, the council voiced support for an additional $250 per month for the mayor's office. So that salary would be $750 per month. That is allowed under the statute, or under a different statute in that same section of the government code to allow the mayor to receive higher office, if voted on by the people or the council to receive more salary in light of the additional duties and obligations of that office. And finally, as far as background, the council also voiced support at that meeting for a meeting stipend for the Rec and Parks Commissioners, which are currently serving without any compensation. My recollection was that it was a $50 stipend, but the minutes apparently was $100. So that's my mistake. Right. Go ahead, please.
I watched that meeting, so cause I noticed that too, but did you guys not talk about $50 per, excuse me, $100 per month, $50 per meeting, because it was 2 meetings per month?
No, there's only one.
Oh, okay, so you did say 100.
Yeah, it was 100. My confusion was I heard 50 and stopped listening. If it was 50 or 100, and then, you know.
I believe it was 100.
Yeah, it was 100. The minutes
Yeah.
reflect that.
Yeah.
And my apologies. I forgot to check that when I submitted my staff report, and it wasn't caught by anyone else. So I checked the minutes when I came to the meeting today, and I told myself I would make sure to let you know that I made a mistake. So we'll just fix that in the resolution. Should you choose to adopt it, we'll just cross out the 50, make it 100, and it'll be fine. We don't have to renotice it or anything for that tiny mistake. Okay, so I think I've already gone over some of the background in terms of this. Sorry, I don't know why this is giving me.
You want the mic?
Yeah, thank you. So to conclude, there's a fiscal impact section at the end that I prepared, and I'm not the finance director, so I hope it's right. But I think it is. The current salary is 150 for council members and city clerk, city treasurer, and city treasurer. That means there would be a $350 per month increase if this council approved $500 for elected officials. That would be essentially $350 times 7, which equals about 24. I'm not going to do that math. It's set out there, but also the additional salary for the mayor is additional 250. Those numbers equal $2,700 per month more that the city will have to budget for. But again, as I said, that it will only take effect beginning in January. And one of the things to avoid any confusion, to make it more administratively clean, the ordinance provides, it said the effective date of the ordinance. I didn't really like that because I didn't know what that would be. The effective date was not 30 days after you adopt it on second reading, but it doesn't take effect till the second seating. So does it take effect in the middle of December, and what date? I thought that would be a problem for the finance department. So I took a cue from other cities and just put a date that it will become effective after. And that date is the end of this year, December 31st. So if you vote, you can change that. We can, but it's 2 weeks and it'll save staff a lot of headache. But it would take effect on January 1st. Essentially, the pay would take effect. It would be a $16,200 increase to the general fund for the rest of the fiscal year, beginning in January, and then $32,400 for each fiscal year thereafter, not including any annual raises. And I think that's it. Okay, any questions from the
I have a
council? Sure, please.
What are the dates of the fiscal year?
Oh,
End of
fiscal
June.
year, July 1st.
July 1st.
Through June 30th.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, one thing I did want to add, I got my fiscal impact wrong since the $50 for me, it's just meant to be doubled. It would be, instead of, I think, 3,000 per year, it'd be 6,000 per year would be the impact for the stipend for the record park commissioners, assuming that they're all 5. Right now, there's only 4.
For
Five,
Rec and Park or something?
Yeah. Oh, there's 5. I thought there was a seat vacant. I'm sorry. I was looking on the website.
don't know if it's been updated, sorry. Okay, well, there we go, 5.
All right, questions of Phil? Is there a motion to first reading?
This,
Go ahead.
this the first reading?
Yes, this is the first reading. We'll continue it to the next meeting for adoption, and then it will, obviously, as it said, take effect pursuant to the date in the ordinance, December 31st, 2024.
Can you explain that,
Okay,
on the
for
ordinance?
the benefit, okay. For resolutions, they take effect immediately. So if they're voted on, the Rec and Parks Commissioners, they're gonna get the next meeting, they're not elected officials, they're gonna get that stipend immediately, because the government code allows city council to set salaries or compensation stipends for supported offices that are appointed by the council. But for the council, you've already explained, an ordinance in general, the way it takes effect is you have to have a first reading. It's a technical term. In the old days, they used to read them in the town square. They use the same language. No one reads them anymore. We waive the first reading. If you notice on the consent agenda next time, first item is waive all readings or
Okay.
something to that effect. So we don't have to actually read it. But that's what the parlance is.
But you
So,
could pull it, right?
yes,
Yeah.
you could pull the second reading, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, what happens, the council will vote, the action takes place in the first reading, there's a vote on it, passes, it's introduced. But it can't take effect until it has a second reading, it has to take at least 7 days later, it's not a problem, so we need, 2 weeks apart or more.
Yeah.
So the second reading takes place, usually put it on the consent calendar, so there's no discussion, you can pull it if you want, but if no one says anything, it's assumed that the same vote that voted to introduce it will take effect on the second reading. I guess if there's an absence, we have to fix that or whatever, but generally speaking, it's not an issue on the second reading, and then it takes effect 30 days after that.
After the second reading.
There are a couple of exceptions, like the council salary, it can only take effect at a certain date, and also elections. When the council votes to put an ordinance on the ballot, it doesn't take effect until after a vote of the people. So hope that is clear.
Sorry.
You go for it. You go for it.
No,
This
please.
is good.
So is it my understanding that the vote for, in favor of the site or the salary for the Parks and Rec people will go in effect
Yes,
right away?
yeah, the next meeting, they'll get $100.
That's
Oh.
a resolution.
Through the resolutions take effect immediately.
Got it. Thank you very much.
And one thing, the payment will be, the ordinance provides that the payment to the council and the Rec and Parks will be made in the same way that employees get their checks, so every 2 weeks or however. it's
So
paid.
taxes will be taken out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But bi-monthly, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, so you want to separate these?
Yes, please.
Okay, is there a motion to introduce first reading, ordinance number 2024-516?
I'll motion to, for the first reading for ordinance 2024-516.
Any discussion? Roll second.
Who's that?
Who seconded? I thought- No, go ahead. Who seconded it? Who will second it? Christina, sorry. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter Junior,
Aye.
Councilmember Robles. Councilmember Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Burnett.
Aye.
Mayor Julian.
There a motion to adopt resolution 2024
So, Bill, since there's an error on here, are we gonna amend it to say $100?
Yes, I've already corrected the copy that Lana will see, but we'll want someone who makes the motion to adopt it to substitute 100 for 50.
Okay. I'll motion to approve resolution 2024-22 with the amended on the price from 50 per meeting cycle to $100 per meeting cycle.
Is there a second?
No second.
Mr. Robles, Councilman Robles seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Carter Junior,
Aye.
Councilmember Robles.
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez. Councilmember Burnett. Mayor Julian.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, future agenda items.
I would like to add one.
I'm not sure if it'll be next meeting or the meeting after, but there's no rush, but because the mayor is getting additional salary, it seems advisable for staff to present an ordinance setting forth the duties that the mayor will be expected to perform to earn that extra salary for the future. Our mayor doesn't need to be policed like that, but who knows, we'll get elected someday. We'll make sure that they know what's expected of them. So that will be on. That should be added to the future agenda items. Okay. Any other additions?
I do.
Okay,
For
please.
the next meeting, provide City of Guadalupe financing options for the Royal Theater revitalization project.
I think, thank you for that. We had a meeting today and right before him, there's a report. There's a PowerPoint. And it's discussed what we need to do in order to move forward, and they're gonna present that information for us, so. With some changes to that, some modifications, so, thank you.
Yep.
That's the next meeting?
Yes.
All right. Item 15, announcements, council activity, reports. Mr. Robles. Anything? How's wrestling going?
It's fine, we're utilizing Leroy Park and currently got our numbers up at 57. Kids from Mackenzie, boys and girls, and I sent them home all last week with soreness that they never felt before, you know, the quads, arms, they were tired. It's a great turnout and we got a lot of potential, so everybody's doing well.
Anything? No.
Just happy to be here.
Because,
I just want to share that the Santa Barbara Workforce Development Board shared their labor force data by city. We placed a bit higher, not too much from the California unemployment rate. Currently, there are 200 unemployment rates in Wilmington, making that a 6.9% here. I am also part of the Hinkle College Foundation Board, and they just announced their Hinkle Promise 2 years free at Evan Hinkle College for local high school graduates. This is really exciting to be able to share. Today, the County Board of Supervisors also recognized Luzia Ramirez. She received Commission for Women 2024 Service Award on her dedication to serving the city of Guadalupe. I thought it was really exciting to see Luzia up there. Just wanted to exciting to that as well. So thank you, Luzia, for everything you've done for the city.
pretty cool. Every supervisor for the year appointed or suggested individuals, especially the Women's Month, and we should have recognized that anyway, for Women's Month. But it was pretty cool to see
Maybe get that on the next
the ladies
beast.
to get due recognition for what they do. Very good. Food bank, we saw probably almost 230, every first Thursday of the month we do food bank. And the senior center, and about 230 individuals came in. It was busy.
It was.
Is there a motion to adjourn to city council closed session?
I'm motion to adjourn the closed session.
I thought you were going already. Yeah? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
So we're going to